Welcome to our traditional Blitz ship review. I want to take you back to the Pacific theater of World War II to look at the pinnacle of Japanese destroyer design, the Kagero class, and the dramatic story of one of its finest ships, the Kuroshio. When the Washington Naval Treaty restrictions were abandoned, Japanese engineers designed the Kagero class with zero limitations. Built between 1939 and 1941, these 18 ships were the ultimate stealth assassins. They were fast, reaching 35 knots, but their real teeth lay in their torpedo tubes. They carried the lethal Type 93 Long Lance torpedoes, oxygen-fueled, completely trackless, and carrying a massive payload that could tear a cruiser apart in a single hit. They were custom-built for deadly nighttime ambush tactics. The Type 93 Long Lance was World War II's most lethal torpedo. Three key features defined it. Powered by pure oxygen, it left no telltale wake of bubbles, striking targets completely by surprise. While Western torpedoes fell short of 10 kilometers, the Long Lance could travel 20 kilometers at 48 knots, or up to 40 kilometers at lower speeds. Armed with a massive 490-kilo warhead, a single hit could instantly snap a destroyer in half. Its oxygen system was highly volatile. If struck by enemy fire while still on a Japanese ship's deck, it often detonated, destroying its own crew. Kuroshio, the third ship of this legendary class. Entering service right before the war in 1940, Kuroshio represented the class in its pure, original form. She fought her entire career carrying her full main artillery layout of 3 dual 127mm turrets. This distinguished her from her surviving sister ships, which were later forced to permanently sacrifice one of their main gun turrets later in the war, just to cram on desperate anti-aircraft upgrades to survive American air power. Kuroshio's history is defined by high-stakes operations. As part of the elite 15th Destroyer Division, she became a vital part of the infamous Tokyo Express. Running under the cover of pitch-black nights, she bypassed American air superiority to rush reinforcements into the meat grinder of Guadalcanal. One of her finest hours came during the Battle of Tassafaronga in November 1942. Ambushed by a numerically superior American cruiser force, Kuroshio and her comrades didn't panic. They slipped through the dark, launched a devastating wall of Long Lance torpedoes, and inflicted a crushing defeat on the U.S. Navy using pure nighttime coordination. Tragically, Kuroshio's end wasn't met in open combat, but through a brutal twist of fate. On May 8, 1943, after a successful transport run near Kolombangara, her division unknowingly sailed directly into a freshly laid, covert American minefield. Within hours, Kuroshio, along with her sister ships Kagero and Oyashio, hit mines in rapid succession and sank together. It was a single devastating day that wiped out an entire elite division. The Kuroshio remains a striking example of the Kagero class, highly capable, fiercely contested, and a symbol of the lethal precision of Japanese naval engineering. Kuroshio joins the game this month as a Blitz Pass ship. For the elite bonus, I prefer speed and acceleration over the torpedo boost, though going for torpedoes wouldn't be a bad choice either. I actually prefer the historical camouflage over the unique one because it gives you that extra concealment. And let's be honest, the more concealment this ship has, the better. Kit-wise, it features your standard Japanese torpedo boat skills, smoke generator, and engine accelerator, plus some air defense. Mikawa is the best choice for Japanese destroyers, mainly because he is giving you an additional smoke generator. I'll be running him. As for equipment, I'm skipping the torpedo modification for the reload time because it almost guarantees your torpedo launchers will get broken. While it helps with the reload, in matches against aircraft carriers, it's highly likely a single bomber will knock out your launcher. Just no point to buff your reload if you can't keep your launchers online. The Kagero class is all over the place, both historically and in Blitz, much like Fletcher class. And as we just mentioned, Kuroshio is a Kagero class. So, let's compare it to the Techline Kagero first. Aside from a few minor tweaks, the biggest difference here is that the main gun reload is 1 second longer. That difference pretty much guarantees you'll have a much worse dogfight compared to Kagero, which is already notoriously weak at Tier 8. But we're talking about torpedo boats here, right? While the torpedo speed and flooding chances are identical, the real game changer is Kuroshio's 12-second faster reload time. This is the ship's main selling point, rapid torpedo reload. Of course, the torpedo damage was dialed back a bit to compensate for this. And as for the anti-aircraft skill, honestly, I haven't seen it do much beyond offering some minor support. In my opinion, the Amatsukaze is currently the best Kagero variant out there, even including the Yukikaze. So, how does Kuroshio stack up against it? Well, Amatsukaze still holds on to its incredible 5.9 kilometer base concealment. However, Kuroshio isn't too far off. With its fast reload and solid torpedo stats, this ship is practically shouting, "I'm a torpedo boat." As you'll see in the gameplay, Kuroshio's alpha torpedo damage might not be enough to one-shot a full-health Tier 8 battleship. However, that reload speed is fantastic. Its biggest strength is definitely how fast those torps come back up. The ship perfectly fits the classic torpedo boat playstyle, which is easily one of the most recognizable playstyles in Blitz. Since the HE shell damage is exactly the same as the AP, you can honestly play the entire match using nothing but HE. I did switch between AP and HE in this video, but like I said, one of the main challenges Kuroshio faces at Tier 8 is running into destroyers with heavy firepower. It's just a weak gunfighter. The reason I chose acceleration and speed for my elite bonus is to maximize my dodging abilities, mostly because I love getting into cap contests. There's no point in being too passive about capturing areas. We have to remember that in modern Blitz, destroyers have vastly different abilities, and learning how to handle all of them takes effort. But to keep it simple, we generally group them into 3 categories: torpedo boats, gunboats, and hybrids. While that classification might be historically outdated, it works perfectly for us in Blitz. Since Kuroshio is a pure torpedo boat, we have to approach caps accordingly. If I were playing a Z-35 or a Split, my approach would be completely different because their gun performance is excellent. With Kuroshio, we're looking for ambush opportunities. If you get into a destroyer dogfight, you pretty much need the enemy to take damage from at least one of your torpedoes. If you miss, things are going to get ugly fast. We want to avoid direct gunfights entirely. While executing these hit-and-run tactics, just make sure you don't leave your team's battleships stranded and don't wander too far away from the objective. We also want to avoid overflanking or chasing the enemy carrier all game. We need to drop our torpedoes calmly, maximize our range, and not panic. If you're hoping to be that noble hero who sinks an enemy ship without taking a single scratch, well, that world just doesn't exist. And please, don't just randomly resort to a YOLO rush. If we keep these points in mind, we're going to have a much happier and more successful match. Let's get into the overall assessment. As I always say, the Blitz Pass remains an incredibly high-value package economically. Plus, if you get a cool ship that you actually enjoy playing, it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But even if the ship isn't your favorite, the Blitz Pass is still worth it. So, what do I actually think of the ship? It's a perfectly viable destroyer for Tier 8. Is it the best Kagero? That's definitely up for debate. But if you're good at landing your torps, you're going to have a blast with the Kuroshio. Plus, you get all the premium ship perks, like being able to move your experienced commanders over without spending resources. And of course, we can't forget the steady monthly income of resources like copper and titanium that premium ships provide. On the downside, I really wasn't a fan of that extended main gun reload time. Also, I wonder if giving it an extra smoke charge would have made it too overpowered, considering the torpedo damage is already lower. It definitely would have made the ship a lot more comfortable to play, but that's debatable. While the fast torpedo reload offers a unique alternative to the current Japanese tech line, it doesn't necessarily redefine the ideal torpedo boat experience. Before I leave you with the match highlights and engagements, I also wanted to point out the recent spike in AFK players. This part is honestly a bit frustrating. There aren't really any harsh penalties against AFK players right now, and the complete lack of real sanctions makes me wonder if it's just making the problem worse. If you've listened this far, feel free to drop your thoughts on this in the comments. With so many AFK players, you practically have to play for 2 people just to get a win. You need to carry harder, but honestly, how far can that take you? To wrap things up, a quick reminder that you can still enter the gold giveaway and the Blitz pass giveaway from my last 2 contents. Stay tuned and take care.
Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Engine boost activated. Confirm penetration. The hand of the Emperor guides me. Penetration! Praise the Emperor! Warn the heretic! Enemy force detected. Engine boost activated. Anti-aircraft gun cruiser on full alert. Target penetration! I strike with the Emperor guides me! Praise the Emperor! Emperor guides me! Penetration! Praise the Emperor! Engine boost activated. Confirm penetration. The hand of the Emperor guides me. Anti-aircraft gun crews are on full alert. Penetrated! I strike with the Emperor's fist! Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Praise the Emperor! Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor... Wage war on the heretic! Engine boost activated. The hand of the Emperor guides me! Engine boost activated. Engine boost activated. Target penetrated. I strike with the Emperor's fist. Confirm penetration. The hand of the Emperor guides me. Praise the Emperor! Target penetrated. I strike with the Emperor's fist. Confirm penetration. The hand of the Emperor guides me. Victory is in sight. Spare none in your fury. Penetration. Praise the Emperor. The heretic! Engine boost activated. Penetrated! I strike with the Emperor's fist! Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Penetration! Praise the Emperor! Emperor's fist! Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Penetration! Praise the Emperor! Unacceptable! Contain it immediately! Engine boost activated. Sighted on the horizon. Confirm penetration. The hand of the Emperor guides me. The enemy is about to win. A true servant never yields to doubt. Engine boost activated. Engine boost activated. Confirm penetration. The hand of the Emperor guides me. Penetrated. I strike with the Emperor's fist. Penetration. Praise the Emperor. Engine boost activated. Anti-aircraft gun crews are on full alert. Penetration. The hand of the Emperor guides me. Confirm penetration. The hand of the Emperor guides me. Penetration. Praise the Emperor. Engine boost activated. Target penetrated. I strike with the Emperor's fist. penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me! Target penetrated! I strike with the Emperor's fist! Confirm penetration! The hand of the Emperor guides me!